Hello, welcome back to Citizen Pew, and in today's video, as you saw in the thumbnail, I'm going to be talking about optics. Now, I was on X, and recently, within the last week or so, there's been a discussion on red dots for pistols, right? And training new people. And there's some instructors out there, and I've talked to a couple myself, who are pushing for like new shooters, especially adults, to start with optics versus irons, and then of course move back on to irons, but to initially start training with optics since optics are around. And there was a lot of pushback I saw online about this. People talk about, oh, you know, you gotta know optics, and or you need to know irons before you learn optics and all that, and you know, a lot of old school methodology there. And honestly, I'll tell you this, from my exposure with optics, so being Gen X, we didn't have optics growing up, right? Yeah, you learned everything iron sights. So when optics first started coming out, the price point was out there. Unless you were rich, you weren't putting optics on your pistols. Plus, usually you had to have the pistol milled for optics. There wasn't a lot of pistols coming out that were optics ready. As the price of optics have dropped and more firearms are coming out optics ready, it's a lot easier and budget friendly now to put an optic on your firearm. And I have a few here. You saw this is my Canik TP9 SFX. I have an optic on it. This is one this year I've been doing a lot of practice with just a little CT optic I picked up, super cheap. I also, in the thumbnail you saw, this is a Tysis Tactical right here, and it has a what is it, AOE? Yeah, whatever that brand, ADE, I don't know. It was a super cheap optic, and it kind of matched it, so I picked it up, put it on. I also brought with me this one to show y'all. This is a M&P 22 Magnum, and I have on it a I think it's Cyelee, C-Y-E-L-E-E. A lot of people recommended it. They're not expensive either. And so I picked one up and put it on this guy right here. So these were the three this year coming into I primarily focused on these three firearms as I started practicing more and more optic I guess proficiency. And I'll tell you this from somebody who spent decades shooting irons, going to optics, there's a little bit of a learning curve. And so I'll show you right here real quick, right? So let me make sure my camera, I'm not going to shoot, I'm just going to show you. But if you go to optics and you've been shooting irons for a long time, you're going to do a lot of this, right? Like trying to find your optic, right? And I tell you what, yeah, it shook awake right there. I tell you what, yeah, you're going to do a lot of that. And what I found was it was actually a benefit switching over to optics and training with optics. I found I started doing better with my irons. And there was a few little bad habits I had picked up over the years. And, you know, you just learn to compensate for those bad habits, and you still feel like you shoot all right and you have a pretty decent pattern. But using optics now versus iron sights, I've really, there's an appreciation I have for these optics. They really helped me hone in my iron sight skills, honestly. So when I talk to people who are instructors and stuff like that, training up new people, especially adults who've never shot as a kid, and they say that they are starting people off with optics, personally, I get it, because these optics are going to help you understand your alignment a lot better than just the irons. And I think it's a learning tool for a new shooter that is very beneficial, in my opinion. Now, I do believe that, you know, irons are critical too, because the arguments are always going to be made, well, what if your battery dies, or, you know, what if an EMP blast occurs? Sure. But you know, for first time shooters and stuff like that, I definitely recommend, in my opinion, from what I've seen now, start off with an optic, because once you get your optic figured out and you get to that point where you don't have to adjust on the fly and stuff to try to keep that dot in there, when you go to irons, man, life is going to be so much easier, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm coming from the point of where I was irons for 20 so years and learning optics, and like I said, in my opinion, I think the optics have helped me tune in my iron sight capability and overcome some bad habits I picked up. So now for all those that are like, oh no, you gotta learn the old-fashioned way, right? I relate it to automobiles, right? Like when I was young, I was told, oh, you gotta learn to drive a stick first, right? Well, I didn't know how to drive a car at all. So you're sitting there trying to drive a car, and now you've thrown in all this other stuff. Like I got to shift and pushed in the clutch and all this, right? While I'm learning how to manage this freaking multi-ton vehicle going down the road. Automatics, man, if you're driving an automatic transmission car, you can learn how to drive and then go back and learn how to drive a stick, right? That just made more sense to me as a kid, you know, when I was a teenager learning to drive. But, you know, I had old school trying to teach me, oh, you gotta drive a stick. And so now I'm killing a car, you know, trying to get up a hill while I'm also trying to learn how to drive. It was frustrating. It was frustrating. And some people are like, well, that's the rite of passage. Yeah, I disagree with that, right? Let's trade people up the best way possible and make them the most efficient as fast as possible. And then fill in the back, you know, iron sight training and all that after the fact. That's my opinion, right? If we want more people in the firearms community, which we all should, right? We should want all Americans armed. We really need to reevaluate, in my opinion, how we train up new shooters. And you know, for the instructors that are using optics for first-time shooters, man, I'm all for it, right? If that's the best way that gets them familiar and confident in using a firearm, do it. You know, hit them with the optics first, and then, you know, move on to iron sights. I'm all for it. So, and plus, here's the thing, right? For all the people who are like, oh, you know, you gotta be able to shoot iron sights. Well, yeah, just buy 2 guns, right? I mean, right? Who wants just 1 gun, right? You know, I can count right now. Let's see here: home defense, personal defense, car defense. You know, let's say the EMP blast, right? The tryhards, the competitioners, all that. I mean, there's like over 5 reasons to have 5 different guns right there. So, I mean, yeah. So if, for anybody watching this who's a first-time shooter or hasn't bought their first gun yet, or has just only bought their first gun, don't stop there, right? Pick up some more. And they don't have to be expensive either. But it would be good. Have an optics ready gun and have an iron sights ready gun. It's pretty easy. Anything could be the same gun. So, I mean, this TP9 SFX, you know, that's just an adapter right there. You take it off, you can put the factory rear sight back on it, and bam, you could have 2 identical firearms, one optics ready, one not. Piece of cake, right? So anyhow, knock something off. That's my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Put a comment down in the comment section. Now, I know I haven't shot anything yet in this video, so I am going to load up these magazines, and we're going to do some shooting at a fresh target. So looks like there's a bug on it too. But I do appreciate you being here for the video this long. And let me know your thoughts. Put your thoughts down in the comment section. But that's kind of where I stand. Like I said, I saw this discussion, debate, dispute online a week or so ago. And, you know, I talked to some people, did some, you know, looking into it. And I know this year I've been highly focusing on switching over to some more optics ready firearms. And for me, it's more of a personal reason. As I'm getting older, right? I'm in my 50. I just turned 50 this year. And my eyes are going, right? I've already got my first set of readers and stuff. And so I needed something to, as my nearsighted vision starts going bad, right? I need something to offset that, and I wanted to try the optics. Like I said, they've come down in price, so I said I'm going to do it. I bought 3 optics. The 3 optics I showed you here, these 2 right here, and this one right here. I was in all 3 of those optics for under $500. You can't beat that, right? No, they're not high-end, super expensive ones, but for me, getting familiar with it and getting practice, man, you can't beat that pricing. So anyhow, I'm gonna load up some mags. We'll do some shooting in this video. You know, I like to do some shooting in every video, so, but I appreciate you being here this long. I'm gonna load these up. Like I said, put some thoughts down in the comment section. I'll be right back, and we'll throw some rounds down range. All right, I'm back. I got a couple mags loaded up. One thing I wanted to tell you too, I found, which, let me dig in my pocket here. When you start using optics, you need batteries, right? Check this out, this little battery case. So just open it up and boom, look at that. It stores batteries for you. Bam, I was like, you can't beat that. Now I found this thing on Amazon, wasn't that expensive. Little hard case, fits right in my gun bag. Boom. Now you got batteries everywhere you go. All right, so on this firearm here, I think I called it a Titus Tactical. It is a PX9 Gen 3, just so you know, just so you know. All right, so let me go ahead and rack it back here. There we go. And make sure I'm gonna be in frame here, and yeah, there we go. All right, I'm just gonna shoot for the target. The nice thing about this optic is it's co-witness, so meaning that I can use my irons with the optic, so, which is really nice. All right, here we go. Oh man. Not bad, not bad. Yep. I was gonna go kind of a rapid burst there, but I ran out of ammo. So in that one. All right, let's do the TP9 SFX Canic here. I'm a big Canic fan. Might do a video on that because I've seen a lot of Canic hate lately online, and ooh, that gets me. I like Canics, so if you like Canics, let me know down in the comment section. All right, here we go. We'll go a little bit higher with the Canic here. So did I turn the optic on? It should be shake awake. Yep, it is. Okay. All right. The Titus optic is not shake awake. You have to turn it on and off. This one is shake awake. Let's drag it down to the right a little bit. Now this one is not co-witnessing, and so after just shooting that last one, I was kind of relying on the co-witnessing and seeing the dot. This one I might have got myself in a little loop there trying to co-witness with it, but as you can see, still pretty good grouping. Now like I said, this is my first year I've ever kind of made a dedicated effort to shooting with optics. So yeah, if you've seen some of my other videos where I shoot pistols with irons, you can see I'm probably right now a little still a little not up to speed with the optics as I am with the irons, just because I have so much familiarity with some of the firearms I shoot iron wise. But I'm getting there. So, but I will tell you from my personal experience, using these optics have really helped me get rid of some bad habits. So just putting that out there. Let me know your thoughts. Put a comment down in the comment section. Thank you for watching the video. If there's anything you'd like to see related to optics, let me know. I tried to do a video on every optic I've bought so far, and I believe I have 3 videos out there with these optics on it. And yeah, so you can check those out. They should all be within the last year of my channel, so if you're interested in it. So all right, that's all I have for you. Thank you for watching the video. Don't forget, you can check me out on X if you like. I do have other channels. I have a garage channel where I do it-yourself stuff, and I have a project truck, stuff like that. I have a gaming channel as well. I have a website. It is down currently right now as I relocate to a new platform. So hopefully it'll be back up by the end of the year. So we'll see about that. All right, anything else? Nope. Other than that, have a good day.